You can't say the meltdown happens every year when they won the national championship in 2022 on the back of getting hot at the exact right time. But there's no doubt that the conversation, the discourse around this series, so we talked about it from the state perspective earlier. All Ole Miss fans, at least when I was recording the podcast last night, and you look at the social discourse around Ole Miss sports is, well, you got to fire him. Right? You got to find the money. You got to fire him, blah, 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 blah. That's what it's become. And that is a total non-starter. In fact, after this segment, we're not going to really talk about it anymore because it's a waste of time. Because it's not going to happen. And there's a lot of reasons why. And unfortunately, you're just going to have to accept that this is the answer. Number one, they're making the postseason. They're going to make the postseason. In February, late January, when you're doing all the season previews and all that stuff, what would be an acceptable result? I didn't hear anybody say host or bust. I mean, the goal was to get back into the postseason and start building back up from there. And regardless of what happens over the next 2 weeks, they're going to make the postseason. That they will be a postseason team. So that's part of it, right? They're going to make the postseason. Now, that excludes the context of they were ranked number 6 and are kind of falling apart. That's a factor, but they're going to make the postseason. They sold out season tickets yet again. And they're going to do it again next year as well. The third thing that I would bring up is why we talk about it on this show so much, even though it's boring. Haydad hates it. Haydad can't stand it. Anytime you bring up anything other than just the games, he hates it. But this is why we do it so much, because I think that it's important for you guys to understand how departments have to operate. So when we talk about house settlement and stuff, you may roll your eyes, but as we've told you many times, and as a lot of people have told you, when the house settlement gets approved, which is as early as this week, but it will be approved soon, $20 million of an already tight budget is poof, gone. It's gone because you have to pay the players with it. It's gone. So you have a department that already did not make money last year, by the way. Ole Miss did not make money on sports. Now, they could do a lot of cuts. They're currently doing a lot of those cuts, but you get my point. They have dramatically increased their investment into basketball in ways that I am surprised that they did, just simply because Ole Miss has never invested in basketball like this. And that's what the fans wanted, and they got it. You already know what they're investing in football. You're already asking your boosters to fully fund NIL, and they're doing it. They fully funded NIL in football. They're fully funding NIL in basketball to make it nationally competitive. And this baseball roster has been paid for as well. So you're already asking them to do all of those things. The budget, poof, gone, $20 million just out of here because of the house settlement. And you can be critical of this if you like, and this would be a side that in hindsight was a mistake. The buyout is massive for a baseball coach. It's about $5 million in total when you factor in everything. So you're really thinking that from Keith Carter's perspective, he's going to look at a program that did win the national championship in 2022, sold out season tickets again. Baseball at Ole Miss makes money. Not a lot of money, but it makes money. And there are very few programs in college baseball that make money. This year's program is going to make money again. So they're going to make the postseason. Sold out season tickets. A non-revenue sport is going to make money again. $20 million of his budget is gone because of the house settlement, and had to dramatically increase investment in basketball and football. It's a non-starter. Financially, it is a reckless decision. And there are too many people that think, oh, that you can just find the money. You can just go find it. From who? From where? They're already finding the money for basketball. They're already finding the money for football. They're already finding the money for NIL, and they're already having to find $20 million extra dollars. That's why the Grove tent pay debacle happened, because they're having to find the money somewhere. For a program that's making the postseason, that sold out, a non-revenue sport that made the postseason and has sold out season tickets and will again, there is no incentive for an athletic director that at this point, because of the current state of college sports, is really an accountant. There is no incentive to try to go find $5 million more to pay the buyout of a baseball coach who makes the postseason and also is making money in a non-revenue sport. It's just a non-starter. And I know fans are frustrated. They're frustrated about not beating Mississippi State. They're frustrated about the last 2 years going into this year being really bad teams, frankly. So I understand fan frustration. But the fans are also still buying season tickets at the maximum level anyway. But there's no incentive for an AD to even consider this right now. It just doesn't make any sense from that perspective, regardless of how upset fans can be about this, regardless of how disappointed they are about the last 2 years and then going from number 6 to unranked like they have entering May. It's just not going to happen. And after today, we're not really going to talk about it because it's just not going. It will not happen. So we don't need to waste your time much more talking about that. So